Side.
Speaking of
Paul
a
was
southern
even over there vibing.
Paulie
I seen you vibing, Paul.
Bopping his head.
Say Uncle Paulie. Uncle Paulie.
He liked it too. Which team is more likely to go on a run here? Is it Miami or is it Alabama? Paul Finebaum, you go first.
I'm going to say Alabama, and I don't think either is set up well, but I do like the path of Alabama for a couple of reasons. Should they win in Norman tomorrow night, then they move on to the Rose Bowl to take on Indiana. I realize Indiana is number one in the country, but I'd rather go through Indiana and then Oregon and Texas Tech than the bottom of the bracket, where I think the two biggest threats to win the title are, and that is Ohio State and, yes, the University of Georgia.
Okay. What do you think, Dio?
I'm saying Miami. One, I don't think Alabama's going to win tomorrow night. So I'll say Miami. I think Miami's got one of the best offensive lines left in college football playoff. I think they have the second best player left in the college football playoff. I think it's an opportunity. I remember when Mario Cristobal took the Miami job, and it was this conversation of when he was leaving Oregon because he was building this SEC style of program at Oregon, and in the trenches type of program. It was, well, I'm going to go to Miami, and I'm going to build an in the trenches program back at Miami. It's the opportunity to do that. I think it starts against A&M. A&M's an SEC team, obviously. SEC lines of scrimmage. They got one of the best defensive lines in college football, certainly one of the best left in the college football playoff. I think Miami because of their offensive line. I think Miami because they got a quarterback that, listen, he's been there and done that for a lot of times. He's an experienced guy. Malachi Toney's a sensational talent, and Ruben Bain's the second best player in the playoff. I just don't think Alabama wins tomorrow night, so I'm going Miami.
Yeah, I mean, they both have a tough road. And I think what Paul pointed out about the side of the bracket Miami is on is what makes you nervous. But I agree with you. Miami's the better team when you're looking at Miami and Alabama. And also the losses this year to Miami, I think sometimes we look at them having two losses and don't realize that Louisville was a good team or that SMU ended up finishing the season strong. And if you have a quarterback in Carson Beck, who, to be honest, I don't love, but he is talented. He does have a ton of experience. He'd spent those years at Georgia. If he's a guy that could get hot, along with the youngster Malachi Toney, who reclassified to this year, as a matter of fact, he went up to play, right? If they can get hot and somehow find a way to make these games tough, they're the team that could go on a run more so than Alabama, because I just don't believe in what I saw in Kalen DeBoer's team down the stretch, and I believe they lose to Georgia. If he's a guy that could get hot, along with the youngster Malachi Toney, who reclassified to this year, as a matter of fact, he went up to play, right? If they can get hot and somehow find a way to make these games tough, they're the team that could go on a run more so than Alabama, because I just don't believe in what I saw in Kalen DeBoer's team down the stretch, and I believe they lose to Oklahoma week 1.
Listen, I'm with y'all. I think that, more likely to go on a run, I'd say Miami than Alabama. First of all, you're Alabama. You haven't scored 30 points, over in like 2 months against an FBS opponent. That's number one. Number two, you don't have much of a rushing attack. Number three, you can't protect your quarterback. In Ty Simpson, he's been sacked 10 times over the last three some odd games against SEC play. Okay, the interceptions that he's been throwing recently, we got to take that into account. There's too many question marks about Alabama. And by the way, if they win this game, don't they go against Indiana next?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
whoever wins Alabama or
Correct.
Oklahoma. Yeah.
I'd rather play Indiana than Ohio State.
but Miami would play Ohio State if they win.
I got
the winner of Miami A&M.
I got you. So neither one of them going on a run as far as I'm concerned. But if I had to pick one over the other, I'd say Miami has a better chance than Alabama right now.
Why are you chuckling, Paul?
Paul?
Well, I'm chuckling because, I understand the hating on Alabama, and we all saw the same games that you have. But I think, Stephen A., if you go back to the Alabama-Oklahoma game, Alabama looked like the better team. They did everything right, except they threw a pick six, they missed a short field goal, and they simply couldn't convert. That's been their problem all along. And I know I'm just grasping at stars, maybe thinking that they can shore up that offensive line, maybe actually go into the plus, because if you remember in the Georgia game, I'm going against my own argument here, they were minus 3 yards in rushing, but a few tweaks, and they've got some healthier players back. I just think the love for Oklahoma, and I don't even think it's love, it is a home game, but Oklahoma has done almost nothing offensively. They're entirely a defensive team, and if Alabama can return to form like they did in the first half of the season, I think they'll move on from this game.
Okay. Well, unfortunately for you, Paul, this desk feels like it's a clean sweep, and Miami's going to go a little bit further. Let's zoom in a little bit further, though, here on the Hurricanes, because They need to play well in this game, it feels like, to maybe justify the fact that they got into the college football playoff over a team like Notre Dame, who many thought was the better football team. How well does Miami need to play? How many games do they need to win to justify the argument?
Alabama got to play better to justify their bid to me than Miami. At least Miami beat Notre Dame head-to-head. And at some point, we had to make
Sure, the SEC is going to be the conference that everyone says it just means more, and they're going to be the kings of the castle. That has always been the case. It will always continue to be the case. The ACC, they're hanging on for dear life. Very little college football playoff people, very little college football people think of the ACC in a level of respect. So for Miami, the team that was in the conversation of should you be in or not, can you go play with an SEC team? Can you be physical enough with an SEC team? Does the ACC actually matter? Do you belong in the college football playoff? That's why there is a tremendous amount of pressure on Miami.
Are we going to just say Miami without getting specific and not going to bring up the name Carson Beck? Don't we need to bring him up? I mean, I know he's looked good in the last 4 games, but in their 2 losses against Louisville and SMU, the man threw 6 interceptions.
Yeah.
4 against Louisville, 2 against SMU, okay? You could make a legitimate argument that Miami's problem in the times that they've struggled has been him.
So what are you saying, though?
I'm saying, do we have faith that he's going to step up and handle his business?
I think he's played good football this year.
Over the last 4 weeks?
I
Definitely.
think I would tell you this, Stephen. I think there's 2 quarterbacks definitively in the college football playoff that can very much so change their NFL prospect.
Beck and Simpson.
I would tell you it's Ty Simpson and Carson Beck.
I don't think Beck.
Oh, absolutely.
You know why I don't feel that way? Because he had a problem his last year, Georgia throwing interceptions, and he had a problem this year in gaps. I'm talking about. I think that's what's going to be held against them more so than they find an excuse not to pick you.
But I think Tom's
Okay. All right. So Paul, will you jump in here? Which team do you think needs to play better to justify their CFP bid? Miami or Alabama? What do you think?
Yeah. I think it's Alabama for a lot of reasons, but none more than Monday, if Alabama loses at 10 o'clock Eastern time, Stephen A. Smith is going to come on here and lambast Alabama because Alabama is the bigger brand. They are the bigger name, and he is going to rain hellfire on the Crimson Tide. Am I right?
Yes. Yes. I mean, listen, they better not lose this game. They better not lose this game. And listen, Paul, before you came on the air, I reminded everybody, Kalen DeBoer has lost 7 games.
Yeah.
If he loses, that'll be 8. Nick Saban he lost 6 in the last 4 years of his career at Alabama. I'm just telling you, whether it's fair or not, that's what's going on in Alabama. You cannot do this. You cannot lose another game. To lose to Oklahoma 3 times in 13 months? That cannot happen.
Paul, I have a question.
That cannot happen.
Paul, I have a question. And what Dan is saying is very true, right? The SEC will be okay if Alabama doesn't play well. Okay. I don't think people ever compare the ACC and the SEC when it comes to football. But now Alabama will be a team that Georgia will still be playing. Ole Miss may still be playing. Texas A&M may still be playing. It's not about the entire SEC. How much will this affect the perception of Alabama if they don't play well in this game and Oklahoma moves on?
Paul, you can answer.
Ryan, it's all about Alabama because the winner of this game is from the SEC. So that helps the SEC brand. But Alabama is still one of those gigantic brands in college football. And a lot of people, and I agree with some of the points made, a lot of people don't think Alabama should have been in the playoff because they lost by 21 to Georgia. Now, that debate's already been handled. But Ryan, your point about, and Dan, your point about Florida State just got forgotten. Alabama got so much credit for beating Georgia in Athens, and they lost no credit for losing to Georgia later in the season. So I think the pressure is entirely on Alabama, and not only on Alabama, but it's on Kalen DeBoer, who may or may not go anywhere. I don't think he will, but the pressure, if he loses this game, is going to intensify beginning next year.
Paul, you're the perfect person to ask this question to because we have to go here. Kalen DeBoer says, you know what, I'm not thinking about it, my family's happy and stuff like that. I'm not going anywhere. But, I mean, if Michigan picks up the phone and calls you after you've lost to Oklahoma for a 3rd time in 13 months, I'm just imagining the stuff. And listen, I don't want to step out of pocket here because I want to be respectful. I'm dead serious about this. But all of that stuff he's talking about how happy his family is, I think that'll change a little bit if he loses this game. I don't think the people down there are going to be interested in his happiness. I don't think his family going to be that happy because listen, on the pro level, we all know how intense it gets on the collegiate level. On the pro level, you got an offensive coordinator in Philadelphia that got his house egg bombed.
Oh, it's worse than college football.
It's what's worse than college football is my point. So when he's talking about how happy he is, I'm going like this.